Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third day of Faculty Development Program titled Current Trends in Civil Engineering. So, this is our second session of the third day. Now, let me introduce our honorable speaker to you all. So, we have the speaker, Dr. Divya Nagarajan. Now, she has got her post graduation from Ishwari Engineering College, Chennai, and she has obtained her PhD from Government College of Technology, Coimbatore in the year 2021 recently. She is the university rank holder in her graduation as well as in her post graduation. Ma'am, she has received research excellence from Institute of Scholars as well. Now, Dr. Divya, she has more than a dozen of research publications in internationally recognized standard journals, as well as she has presented several number of papers in national and international conferences. Dr. Divya, she holds her expertise in lightweight aggregate concrete. I welcome you, Dr. Divya. So
Thank you,
over to
sir.
you, ma'am. Over to you. You can carry on with your session.
Okay, sir. Okay. Respected professors, research scholars, engineers, and all participants. A warm good afternoon to all. Role of lightweight aggregates in concrete. Concrete is acknowledged to be the most widely used construction material in many parts of the globe. Concrete is also one of the most widely consumed materials by mankind in the modern world, second to fresh water. Its production involves large quantities of natural resources. The strength, durability, and low maintenance cost of concrete makes its usage inevitable in establishing the infrastructure of the construction industry. Simultaneously, the growth of construction industry must aim at a sustainable construction practice that plans to meet the present day requirements. So, this lightweight concrete is not just one item. It is a spectrum of different concretes with a wide variety of characteristics, and it fills a number of needs. It can be gaseous or foam concrete, using specially prepared chemicals, and no fines concrete using ordinary gravel or crushed stone on a gap graded basis, and normal weight concrete with an excessive amount of entrained air, or a concrete that is made using lightweight aggregate. Therefore, the lightweight concrete is a versatile construction material which contains scope for scientific, economic, and eco-friendly advantages and is bound to turn into a prevalent construction material in the new millennium. Lightweight aggregates. Lightweight aggregates are aggregates prepared by several processes. The process includes expanding, calcining, or sintering, and the products used for producing such lightweight aggregates are blast furnace slag, clay, diatomite, fly ash, shale, or slate. Also, these aggregates can also be prepared by processing of natural materials such as pumice, scoria, or shells of concrete, oil palm shell, etc. Coming to the specifications of lightweight aggregates, the lightweight aggregates are actually obtained from the local resources because leading to sustainable production and owing to the depletion of natural resources, people are now focusing on the usage of naturally available substances occurring in their locality. And as far as the codes are concerned, they are limited to the materials available in the particular area. So the Eurocode reveals that aggregates having particle density not exceeding 2000 kilogram per meter cube and loose bulk density not exceeding 1200 kilogram per meter cube are defined as lightweight concrete. According to ACI code, aggregates with a dry loose density not exceeding 880 kilogram per meter cube is classified as lightweight aggregate. According to IS 2058, aggregates having a particle density on a dry basis lesser than 2100 kilogram per meter cube and greater than 500 kilogram per meter cube is known as lightweight aggregate. ASTM code says that Bulk density is within 880 kilogram per meter cube for coarse lightweight aggregate and within 1120 kilogram per meter cube for fine lightweight aggregate. Structural lightweight concrete. Structural lightweight concrete is nothing but the lightweight concrete which is used for structural applications. So the concrete having closed structure and a density less than or equal to 2200 kilograms per meter cube with a portion of artificial or natural lightweight aggregate having particle density less than 2000 kilogram per meter cube. That is, the lightweight aggregate should have a particle density less than 2000 kilogram per meter cube. Is used in structural lightweight concreting. The primary use of structural lightweight concrete is to reduce the dead load of the structure. Normally, it is the coarse fraction of the aggregate that is exchanged by the lightweight aggregate. A further reduction can be in density can be achieved by replacing the sand fraction with a lightweight sand if it is available locally. The primary use of structural lightweight concrete is to allow the structural designer to reduce the size of beams, columns, and other load-bearing elements. The use of lightweight aggregate concrete instead of normal weight concrete reduces the relative cost and potential savings can also occur. The primary use of lightweight concrete is the reduction of dead load of the structures, and hence it reduces 25% the weight of the structure. It is 25% lighter than normal concrete. And in a design where dead load is equal to the live load, a saving of nearly 15% energy in steel reinforcement can also be obtained. For long span bridges, the live load is a minor part of the total load, and reduction in density is translated into reductions not only in mass but also in section size. Potential of using lightweight aggregate concrete. The lightweight aggregate concrete, when it is used as a construction material, it has received considerable attention from the construction industry in recent years, owing to its sustainability, its nature, and we can design the concrete similar to the normal weight concrete. Therefore, the lightweight concrete is similar to normal weight concrete, except that it has lower density. The lightweight concrete offers the consumer an outstanding combination of properties such as reduction in mass, improved thermal and sound insulation, reduced energy demand during construction, less need for structural steel reinforcement, and better fire resistance. Types of lightweight aggregates. The lightweight aggregates are classified as natural lightweight aggregates, artificial lightweight aggregates, aggregates from industrial byproducts, aggregates from organic and inorganic solid waste. Coming to natural lightweight aggregates, pumice, tuff, scoria, cinders, and diatomite are naturally available lightweight aggregates. This pumice, tuff, and scoria are from volcanic origin and they are formed by natural expansion. But this diatomite is a siliceous sedimentary rock. Since they are naturally formed, these aggregates were found to be found only in specific regions. So its use cannot be widely used, and it is used for producing lightweight concrete only in a particular area. Structural concrete having a density within 1630 kilogram per meter cube to 1885 kilogram per meter cube, and concrete compressive strength of 24 to 55 Newton per mm square can be produced using these aggregates. Coming to artificial lightweight aggregates, expanded clay, shale, slate, and perlite aggregates, pole bonded and the sintered aggregates comes under this category. They are produced by some kind of manufacturing process in the industries. The raw materials used for producing these aggregates are obtained either from natural resources or from industrial byproducts. The process used in the production of lightweight concrete is either agglomeration or expansion process. In expansion process, the aggregates are manufactured by applying heat on the aggregate to a temperature between
Excuse me, ma'am.
1000.
Sorry for the interruption, ma'am. You can just put out a slideshow.
Sir, slide is not visible.
Slide is visible. Just you can put it up a slideshow.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this okay, sir?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. In expansion process, The aggregates are manufactured by applying heat on the aggregate to a temperature of 1000 to 1200 degrees Celsius. Thereby, the aggregates are expanded due to entrapped gases. Now, in agglomeration process, finer particles are bound together and hence coarse aggregate is formed by mechanical means. In this method, the moisturized fine particles together form pellets sintered in the furnace to an appropriate temperature. Expanded shale, clay, uh, slate comes under this category. And expanded clay, shale, slate, and perlites produce lightweight concrete having a density of 1300 kilogram per meter cube to 1855 kilogram per meter cube. A maximum compressive strength of 50 Newton per mm square can be produced by using shale or expanded clay as pose aggregate. The coal banded and sintered fly ash aggregates are produced using pulverized fuel ash or fly ash. The lightweight concrete of density 1490 to 2000 kilogram per meter cube and compressive strength up to 60 Newton per mm square are produced with coal bonded and sintered aggregate. When pulverized fuel ash is combined with quarry dust, clay, and charcoal, it produces a special kind of concrete with improved properties, and it produces a coarse aggregate at the density of about 1600 kilogram per meter cube and a compressive strength of 61 Newton per mm square is attained. Aggregates from industrial byproducts. Car granules, cenospheres, expanded polystyrene foam, base glass, and brickbats comes under this category. The increasing concern for natural resources are the cause of this cause of bulk dumping of these industrial byproducts. So the coarse aggregates when they are used, these coarse aggregates when they are used in concrete, they will reduce the workability and will considerably affect the compressive strength of the concrete. Cenosphere, a byproduct of thermal power plant produced from pulverized coal combustion process, mainly consists of silica and alumina. They are porous in nature and larger in size, and the lightweight concrete produced from this type of using this type of aggregates are the compressive strength ranges between 5 to 33 Newton per mm square, and density ranges between 1090 to 1090 to 1415 kilogram per meter cube. Expanded polystyrene beads are used as ultra lightweight aggregates in concrete. These are obtained from packing industry waste and they contain 98% of air. They have a density of about 1000 to 2000 kilogram per meter cube and compressive strength of more than 35 Newton per mm square. Broken brickbats, they are obtained from bricklin directly or from demolished buildings. They have a compressive strength of about 13 to 21 Newton per mm square and a density of 1560 to 1670 kilogram per meter cube. Base glass, when these are used as aggregates in concrete, they have a compressive strength in the range of 15 to 60 Newton per mm square. And these base glass contains silica in it. So it helps in alkali silica reaction when used in concrete and it also causes expansion in the structure. Aggregates from organic and inorganic solid waste. PET bottles, silt
Excuse me,
dredged
ma'am.
from reservoirs, agricultural solid waste, organic waste such as palm shell, sawdust, rice husk, and wood chips falls under this category.
Ma'am, sorry for interrupting again. Ma'am,
Sir,
the slides aren't changing, ma'am. They are not changing.
sir, the slideshow is visible, right?
Slideshow also is not visible. However, the slides are not changing.
Sir, shall I share the slides again?
Now, you are in the 10th slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am,
Yes,
are
sir.
you in the 10th slide right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine, ma'am, fine. Now you can carry on. We are in the 10th slide. Earlier, it was in the 8th slide.
Okay. If any problem occurs, kindly stop me, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Now it is visible. You can go on, ma'am. You can move on.
Okay, sir. Okay. Aggregates from organic and inorganic solid waste. PET bottles, silt dredged from reservoirs, agricultural solid waste, organic waste such as palm shell, sawdust, rice husk, and wood chips falls under this category. The base polyethylene terephthalate, that is PET bottles, when they are used as lightweight aggregates in concrete, a density of 1940 kilogram per meter cube and a compressive strength in the range of 22 to 34 Newton per mm square can be produced.
Turn here only, otherwise you.
The fibrous nature of the rises helps to achieve the compressive strength of concrete up to 24 Newton per mm square with a density within a range of 1110 to 1145 kilogram per meter cube. Lightweight concrete, sawdust waste was achieved with a compressive strength of 30 Newton per mm square with air dry density of 1940 kilogram per meter cube. Workability of lightweight aggregates concrete. This is the matter of concern when lightweight aggregates are used in concrete. The workability of lightweight aggregate concrete differs from normal weight aggregate concrete. When the slump of the lightweight concrete is more, it leads to floating of lightweight aggregates away from the heavier cement mix, which results in poor finishing and compaction. High slump is not required for better finishing and compaction of lightweight concrete, as in the case of normal weight concrete, since the work done by the lightweight concrete by its gravity is much lower than that of the normal weight concrete. This reasons encouraged the ACI code to limit the lightweight slump of the lightweight concrete to 100 mm only for better achievement in finishing and compaction. And studies have reported that a slump of 50 to 75 mm is adequate for lightweight concrete for good compaction and finishing. When the slump value exceeds these ranges, it affects satisfactory compaction, flowability, and finishing. Moreover, the high porous and water absorption nature of the lightweight aggregates further increase the trouble for controlling the workability. Coming to density, the lightweight concrete has a maximum density of 2000 to 2000 kilogram per meter cube, and it can also be achieved by using low density aggregates. Compressive strength. The compressive strength of the lightweight concrete solely depends upon the mixed designing procedures. So I have elaborated in detail in the upcoming slides about the mixed design procedures adopted by myself in my project. Usually, the compressive strength of any concrete depends on the mixed designing procedures, but the lightweight concrete can also be designed as similar to the normal weight concrete, but with reduced density. It has a reduced density. That's all. It was found that the variation in concrete strength could be related to physical and chemical actions that takes place in the interfacial region apart from the aggregate strength. The physical process corresponds to the densification of the interfacial transition zone. That is, when lightweight aggregates are used in concrete, they have a better interfacial transition zone. Split tensile strength and flexural strength. It is a well-known fact that the tensile properties of the lightweight aggregate concrete is always inferior to the corresponding normal concrete. This is mainly due to the lower strength and the stiffness of the porous aggregates. This problem can be reduced by the addition of fibers to the concrete. Because if we are using the lightweight aggregates for structural concreting purposes, the fibers play a good role. But previous studies mentioned that the split tensile strength and flexural strength are either comparable or superior to the normal aggregate concretes. This solely depends upon the origin or place where the aggregates were produced or the admixtures used for the production of the lightweight aggregates and also the concrete. The split tensile strength and flexural strength of the lightweight concrete can be directly correlated to the compressive strength. Coming to elastic modulus, it is always a known fact that the elastic modulus of the lightweight aggregate concrete is generally less than the normal aggregate concrete, having equivalent strength irrespective of the production process. This may be due to the higher paste content in the concrete and lower stiffness of the aggregate. That is, the lower stiffness of the aggregates affects the split tension strength, flexural strength, and also the elastic modulus. Also, it is observed that the pitch stress and elastic modulus of the concrete decreases as the volume of lightweight aggregate increases within the matrix. Apart from strength, shape of the aggregate also play a major role in affecting the elastic modulus of the concrete. The hard rock-like materials exhibits a linear stress-strain relation, whereas porous aggregates do not follow this pattern. The determination of elastic modulus of the manufactured aggregates is highly impractical because the same thing, the manufactured aggregates, the raw materials used for manufacturing these aggregates varies from place to place. So the elastic modulus will not be the same for each and every aggregate, even if it is manufactured from the same plant. Bond. Speaking about the bond, generally the brittleness of the lightweight aggregate concrete is more than that of the normal concrete. This might increase the risk of splitting cracks and delamination of the concrete cover.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, we are still in the vocabulary slide, ma'am.
Oh, is it so, sir?
Now it came. I don't
Sir,
know because yeah.
maybe because of slideshow, is it like that? No.
Slideshow is not on, but however you can escape the slideshow and you can begin, ma'am. Most probably that might be causing a problem.
Okay, sir. Okay. Bond. Generally, the brittleness of the lightweight aggregate concrete is more than that of the normal concrete. This might increase the risk of splitting cracks and delamination of the concrete cover. Fracture properties of the lightweight aggregate concrete. Due to excellent aggregate paste bond present between the lightweight aggregate concrete matrix, the fracture plane passes through the aggregate instead of bypassing. Actually, the lightweight aggregates will be porous in nature. It will have surface pores and voids will be present. And it will have an excellent aggregate paste bond. So the fracture plane passes through the aggregates. That is, the aggregate split into two halves when subjected to testing. Whereas in conventional concretes, the fracture plane is bypassing the aggregates, resulting in a plane around the aggregates. The aggregates will not break into halves, or there will be no crushing of aggregates in case of normal weight concrete. As aggregate occupies major volume of the concrete, the properties of the aggregate has vital influence on the performance of the concrete made with it. Because of its brittle nature, special attention is required before the application of any concentrated loads on the structural members. This is why fibers are required for to be added in the concrete, lightweight concrete. On occasion of shear stress failure, aggregates access shear arresters in case of normal aggregate concrete. But though the lightweight aggregates are not strong enough, the crack face of the concrete will be a smooth one. Creep and shrinkage. Coming to long-term effects of lightweight aggregate concrete, it is reported that the lightweight aggregate concrete shows faster rate of creep during the initial period. But the final creep value does not differ greatly when using different lightweight aggregates manufactured from various places. Either a manufactured aggregates or naturally produced aggregates, the final creep value will be the same for each and every aggregates. Due to lower stiffness of the lightweight aggregates, it is generally believed that the creep of the lightweight aggregate concrete might be higher than the normal concrete. Drying shrinkage may also occur due to the shrinkage of aggregate itself. Structural efficiency. For most reason behind the use of lightweight concrete is to reduce the self-weight, which provides more utility space, architectural freedom, and easiness in constructability of the structure. The term structural efficiency indicates the measure of the strength to density ratio of the material. If the lightweight aggregate concrete possesses significantly high structural efficiency than the normal aggregate concrete, it will have high positive impact on the sustainable development. Durability. It is the important aspect when lightweight aggregates are used in concrete. This durability characteristics depends on porosity, water absorption, resistance to acid, chloride ion penetration, aggressive environments, and softivity effects of the aggregates itself. I'll broadly discuss about the effect of artificially produced sintered fly ash aggregate in concrete, which is my area of interest. Sintered fly ash aggregates. The sintered fly ash aggregates is obtained from sintering process of fly ash, where it is formed into small round pellets. It is then further processed to form tough aggregates with a honeycombed internal spongy structure. When compared with natural aggregates, these hard pellets are superior, consistent, and have low density. The sintered fly ash lightweight aggregates substitutes natural stone aggregate or chips in concrete, and it hence reduces the dead weight of the structure. It can also be used in production of lightweight precast concrete blocks for use in load and non-load bearing elements. The local availability of fly ash from thermal power plants opens up potential good scope, and more. So these stone aggregates are costly and also scarce. It meets concrete properties requirements to achieve high compression strength, slump, workability, split tensile strength, flexural modulus, and modulus of elasticity of the concrete. The materials used for the present investigation were cement, fine aggregate, locally available fine aggregate, pose aggregate, crushed bluestone aggregates, the sintered fly ash aggregates, basalt fiber. The basalt fiber, as I said earlier, the basalt fiber is added to this lightweight concrete in order to make it fit for use in structural applications. Because the lightweight, although the sintered fly ash aggregates are good in split tension and flexural characteristics, there will be there is some reduction in flexural strength when it is used in structural members. So this particular fiber is used to improve the split tension strength and flexural properties of the concrete. And most importantly, we have seen that the crack pattern of the aggregates, the crack passes through the matrix interstices of the aggregates, and it will cause problems with bond. So when a fiber is added to this concrete, this problem can be reduced. Then water and superplasticizer are used in this investigation. Physical properties of the binder. OPC of grade 53, OPC cement, Ultratech cement of grade 53 was used in this investigation with a specific gravity of 3.15. The 3 days, 7 days, and 20 days compressive strength were carried out systematically, and the 53 grade was obtained. Physical properties of the aggregates. The fine aggregate, as I said earlier, the aggregate used was the naturally available river sand. The specific gravity of the aggregate was 2.56, and water absorption was around 1.2%, which is usual and normal. And the size of the aggregate was 2.75 mm down passing. Coming to the properties of pose aggregate and sintered fly ash aggregate, actually the pose aggregate was entirely replaced with sintered fly ash lightweight aggregate, and the properties are studied systematically. The specific gravity of the sintered fly ash aggregate was almost 60% lower than the conventional aggregate. Higher the specific gravity, harder and stronger the aggregate will be. However, the sintered fly ash aggregate had almost 2 times higher impact value than the conventional aggregates. The voids are higher and the bulk density is high. Sintered fly ash aggregates had lower bulk, but however, pose aggregate had a higher bulk density, but the sintered fly ash aggregate had lower bulk density, and since it is porous with more voids. Crushed angular aggregates develop good bonding with mortar paste. The strength of the bond between the aggregate and the cement paste depends upon the surface structure, surface roughness, and surface porosity of the aggregates. These sintered fly ash aggregates are rough, porous, with large number of voids. This is the typical structure of sintered fly ash aggregate. When a sintered fly ash aggregate is broken down, the grain will look like this, and the microstructure is also shown here. Basalt fiber. Basalt fiber of length 18 mm was used for the investigation. Water, potable water available in the laboratory was used, and the superplasticizer. The superplasticizer Master Glenium Sky 8233 was used in the investigation because it has excellent properties that enhance the workability of the concretes. Now coming to the point, use of saturated and surface dry aggregates. The water absorption of the sintered fly ash aggregates was nearly found to be 15.4%, and which is a considerable, which is an area of concern. So when saturated and surface dry aggregates are used, the additional water which we add during design is also accounted for. When over dry aggregates are used, there will be no additional water available during concreting. But when air dry aggregates are used, a little amount of water will be available, and saturated and surface dry aggregates will be fully filled with water, and They will enhance internal curing of the concrete. Damp or wet concrete, when they wet aggregates, when they are used in concrete, they will increase the water cement ratio or water content of the concrete. Here it is, the conceptualized diagram for the difference between external and internal water curing. The complete hydration can be ensured only by adequate curing. We know that. The water absorbed during the initial stage by the porous aggregates facilitates the concrete to compensate the moisture loss at later periods. Due to this unique feature, the concretes are less vulnerable to the lack of curing compared to normal density concretes. Apart from compensation for moisture loss, the existence of this absorbed water play a major role in concrete. That is, the first specimen shows that when external water is external water comes inside the concrete, there will be no additional water available for internal curing of the concrete. But when saturated and surface dry aggregates are used, the cured zone will be, the area cured will be higher. Mixed design procedures as per various codal provisions. Since from 1990s, the structural lightweight concrete has been viewed differently. With the advancement in technology and growing needs for the development of high performance concrete, these lightweight aggregate concretes are modified to fit the strength and durability requirements. It is a crucial factor that the reason for growing research in the structural lightweight concrete is this, because there is always variability in the properties or difference in the properties obtained from various lightweight aggregates. In this century, many efforts have been intensified for making artificial and sustainable lightweight aggregates manufactured with varying proportions of industrial byproducts. The behavior, quality, and properties of lightweight structural concrete incorporating such aggregates are already under research. But still, there is a research gap in understanding the properties and behavior of the lightweight aggregate concrete. The cause may be due to the type of admixture added for making, as I said earlier, the type of admixtures added for making the lightweight aggregate and the type of experimental approach to makes a difference. The difference in experimental results reveals the variability in the production of lightweight aggregate and variation of parameters along with the experiments. The mixed design method provided by the ACA Code of Practice is applicable for all grades up to 83 MPa. The type of aggregate can be nominal maximum size aggregate. It doesn't provide any limitation for the size of the aggregate. And the water cement ratio can be 0.25 to 0.82. Water content is 166 to 211 kilogram per meter cube. And the coarse aggregate content and the total aggregate content can range between 0.52 to 0.74. This ACA code provides guidelines for design of lightweight concrete up to 41 MPa only. DIN codes of practice is applicable for all concrete grades up to 55 MPa, and it restricts the size of type of aggregate to rounded only. The water cement ratio is between 0.4 to 0.75. Water content 135 to 220 kilogram per meter cube is allowed, and combined aggregate grading is adopted in this method. No guidelines for design of lightweight concrete is provided. Now, the BS code of practice is applicable for all grades up to 75 MPa. Crushed and uncrushed aggregates can be used using this design. 0.3 to 0.9 water cement ratio can be adopted. The water content ranges between 115 to 250 kilogram per meter cube, whereas the coarse aggregate content or the total aggregate content ranges between 0.4 to 0.8. Also, it provides guidelines for design of lightweight concrete. That is, there will be step-by-step procedure for the design of lightweight concrete. The Euro code is applicable for all grades up to 88 MPa. It restricts only round aggregates. The water cement ratio is between 0.3 to 0.9, and the water content ranges between 150 to 250 kilogram per meter cube, and the coarse aggregate or the total aggregate content ranges between 0.4 to 0.8, and it also provides guidelines for the design of lightweight concrete. The IS 10262 is applicable for all grades up to 55 MPa. Angular, subangular, and rounded aggregates are applicable. 0.4 to 0.6 water cement ratio can be used. The water content is restricted to 165 to 208 kilogram per meter cube. The coarse aggregate or the total aggregate content varies between zero point 0.4 to 0.75, and there are also no guidelines for design of lightweight aggregate concrete. So, although many literatures and international codes are available for mix designing and procedure and proportioning of this lightweight concrete, the lightweight concrete has to be mix proportioned by a lot of trial mixes. So, uh, so the mix proportioning method that we have to adopt uh, is from the trial mixes. So I have done the following approach for concrete mix proportioning. Initially, a starting set of mix proportions were adopted combining the DIN standards and IS codal provisions, and I have performed many trial batches following different mix proportions until all criteria were satisfied. And literature reviews were done in extensively, and the values were taken systematically. By following the mix design procedures for lightweight concrete, interaction among the concrete constituents cannot be accounted for. And there is no means to achieve an effectively optimized structure for a given criterion. The usual methods for predicting the mechanical properties are generally based upon linear and non-linear static analysis, and regression models are also constructed in addition to that. Furthermore, the use of sintered fly ash lightweight aggregate in concrete modifies most of the properties of the concrete, and choosing a suitable regression equation involves technique and experience, and it is not a simple thing. So I went for optimization technique using ANN. The total volume of fine aggregate with respect to lightweight aggregate was varied in such a way that it satisfies the mixed proportion guidelines in each set. First, the water cement ratio. The water cement ratio was fixed between 0.4 to 0.45. The dosage of the cement was varied between 300 kilogram per meter cube to 450 kilogram per meter cube as per IS codal provisions. Next, the mix proportioning was optimized for sintered fly ash aggregate concrete using neural network derived from genetic algorithms for use of sintered fly ash aggregate. I'll say, I will not go in depth, but I'll say what I have done. The mixed proportion first genetic algorithms were used for making neural networks. The compressive strength of the concrete is predicted by using multi-layer feed-forward neural networks. Mixed proportions were optimized using cellular genetic algorithms. Neural nets were developed for applications in concrete structures. These tools were used to predict the compressive strength, split tensile strength, and flexural strength of concrete at 28 days. And also sensitivity analysis based on genetic algorithm neural network was also carried out to find the mixing ratio of the sintered fly ash aggregate concrete. First, initially, I optimized it. I performed a lot of trial mixes. Then, from literature reviews, the values were calculated, were taken down, and it was applied in optimization technique. This is the model construction. The cement, fine aggregate, sintered fly ash aggregate, super plasticizer, and water cement ratio. They were considered as the input layer. That is, we use cement, fine aggregate, the cement aggregates, super plasticizer, and water cement ratio plays a major role in forming a concrete. They were provided as the input layer. Hidden layer means each and every ingredient of the concrete has influence on each other. So they were provided as the hidden layer. And the output layer was compression, split tension, flexural strength. That is, by providing the cement, fine aggregate, super plasticizer, and water cement ratio as input, I got compression, split tension, and flexural strength as output. The optimization technique involves training and testing phase. In the training phase, the feed-forward network and backpropagation algorithm is used for developing the neural networks, and it is used for the analysis. In the study, Leeuwenberg-Marquardt algorithm has been used to synthesize models of artificial neural network. This algorithm uses layered feed networks in which neurons are arranged in layers, signals are sent forward, and errors are spread backwards. That is, multiple regression takes place. In general, in Excel regression analysis, it occurs only once, but in ANN, the neural networks sends back and forth the signals, and the errors will be less. In learning phase, the neural networks were trained in such a way that the test data performs good correlation between the experimental and predicted data. Now, 19 testing vectors of the data were used to test the neural network model. Repetitive iterations were performed to arrive the neural network model best results. The target output in the output neuron is correlated with the input neuron models. The results were computed in neural network as a result of feed-forward calculations. These are the predicted models. See how smooth the points are, how nearby the points are. The regression obtained through ANN will be far more better than the regression obtained through regression carried out by any other calculations. Although many new techniques have been come recently, the ANN predicts better in a better way than when compared to other models. The experimental compressive strength and the predicted compressive strength, the R-square values around 0.93, whereas for split tensile strength and the predicted split tensile strength, the R-square value is 0.92. For fluxural strength, the R-square value is around 0.94, which is some closest prediction. Now coming to mixed proportion, I have used M30 grade of concrete. The neural network trained in such a way that the models can be used to find out the factors affecting the strength parameters of the lightweight aggregate concrete. Therefore, with the lack of sufficient codal provisions on the strength properties of lightweight concrete, the mixed procedures are often tedious. Therefore, the relationship between the strength properties conforms to the guidelines of the mixed proportioning as per IS 10262. And to some extent, the models formulated through neural network was found to be reasonably good. This is the quantity of materials I have arrived through MATLAB programming. The type of concrete used in the investigation were normal aggregate concrete and lightweight aggregate concrete. That is sintered fly ash lightweight aggregate concrete with and without basalt fiber. The normal aggregate concrete is designated as NA. The fiber and reinforced normal aggregate concrete is designated as NAF. The sintered fly ash aggregate concrete is designated as SA. Fiber reinforced sintered fly ash aggregate concrete is designated as NAF. Coming to workability test. According to IS code of practice, the slum value has to be between 50 to 100 Newton, 50 to 100 mm for medium workability for use in structural concreting. This is applicable in the case of normal weight concrete. However, the slums can be when there is deviation in slum, they can be adjusted during mixed proportioning. Addition of basalt fiber to the mix affects the workability of the concrete. It reduces the workability initially, but adjustments in the mix by using the superplasticizer maintained the workability. The normal weight aggregate concrete had a slump of 75 mm without fiber and 70 mm with fiber. The sintered fly ash aggregates, owing to its round shape and porous structure, produced poor to medium workability results as 55 mm without fiber and 53 mm with fiber. This may be attributed due to the packing of the round aggregates. The studies also show that the slump of the lightweight aggregate concrete that ranges between 50 to 75 mm is equivalent to the value of slump of 100 to 125 mm for conventional concrete. Medium workability is also obtained by adjusting the dosage of superplasticizer. Now coming to compaction factor test, the sintered fly ash aggregate concrete with and without the fiber exhibited a low degree of compaction. Hence, it can be suggested for concreting of lightly reinforced sections with vibrations. But the normal aggregate concrete designed as per the laboratory conditions showed a medium degree of compaction. Hence, it can be used for concreting of lightly reinforced sections with vibrations or heavily reinforced structures with vibrations. BB consistometer time test. This test is performed in order to find out the stiffness of the concrete. The mixes of the sintered fly ash aggregate, yes, as it is a known fact, the round aggregates imparts more stiffness to the concrete. It was found to be little stiffer than the normal aggregate concrete. Coming to non-destructive testing, prior to prior to the destructive testing, non-destructive testing were carried out. This is an indicator to find out the quality of the concrete. Initially, rebound hammer test was calculated, was done. The rebound hammer producer gives the rebound number, and the rebound from the rebound number, the average compressive strength is correlated, and the quality of the concrete is found out from the code IS 13311 Part 2 1992. The sintered fly ash aggregate concrete have a very hard outer layer, and the rebound hammer test is the proof for the same. The rebound number is high for the sintered fly ash aggregate concrete, and the average compressive strength was also high for the, when compared to normal aggregate concrete, it is little bit higher. Coming to UPV test, the UPV test is also an indicator of the quality of concrete. The density of the concrete can be determined through the pulse velocity. Owing to the porous nature, the lightweight aggregate concrete had a medium quality, and the density is lower when compared to the normal aggregate concrete, and the pulse velocity is considerably lower when compared to the normal aggregate concrete. Compressive strength. As I said earlier, the production or a mix designing of the lightweight aggregate concrete was tedious, and it involved a lot of trial mix proportioning, and AN and MATLAB tool was also used for proportioning of the concrete. Accelerated curing was also used as an indicator to find out the compressive strength of concrete. The accelerated curing tank was used, and water boiling method was adopted, and within 24 hours the compressive strength was estimated. It is not the exact compressive strength that will be attained at 28 days of age, but it is somehow predicted the compressive strength, nearby compressive strength of the concrete. It can be seen from the graph that the compressive strength predicted through accelerated curing is all above 30 MPa for all grades of for all types of concrete. Coming to compressive strength using normal water curing, the 3, 14, and 28 days compressive strength was found out. The sintered fly ash aggregate was designed to have a similar compressive strength as the normal aggregate concrete. The M30 grade of concrete was achieved, and the target strength was also achieved through the mix design. And this is the split section of the specimen. Now coming to the split tensile strength, the sintered fly ash aggregate, as I said, the sintered fly ash aggregates have better tensile properties when compared to other lightweight aggregates. So there is no much difference in the split tensile strength when compared to the normal aggregate, but when fiber is added, the split tensile strength increased. But it is not due to the bridging effect of the fiber, because the basalt fiber, they are short and discrete fibers. There will not be much bridging effect when using basalt fiber. Steel fibers serves this purpose a lot, but basalt fiber is added to this concrete in order to avoid the cracking of the aggregates when subjected to loading, since this concrete has to be used in structural members. Flexural strength. The flexural strength of the aggregates were also found out, and the addition of fiber improved the flexural strength. Sintered fly ash aggregate concrete without fiber had also around 1.5 times more flexural strength when compared to the normal concrete. Fracture properties. Coming to the fracture properties, observing the cut section of the specimen, it can be seen that the crack had occurred through the matrix, and the second picture shows the crack through the particle. Here I have elaborated the fracture properties using MATLAB image processing. I have image processed the cut section of the specimen using MATLAB software to study in detail. It can be seen that the crushing failure of the aggregates, interfacial cracks, crack to aggregates were observed when without basalt fiber in sintered fly ash aggregate concrete. But when basalt fiber is added, I don't say that the crack is fully arrested or there is no cracks, but it enhanced the properties. See that the cracks through aggregates couldn't be avoided, but somehow to considerable extent, the sintered fly ash aggregate concrete when basalt fiber is added performed well. Due to it is because of excellent aggregate paste bond present between the cement and the lightweight aggregate matrix. The fracture plane passes through the aggregate instead of bypassing it. It can be seen from the figure. Whereas in conventional aggregates, it was seen that it is known that it is a known fact that the fracture plane bypasses around the aggregates. It has a vital influence in the performance of the concrete. As I said, it influenced the split tensile strength and the flexural strength a lot. Interfacial transition zone. Being porous aggregates, these aggregates have strong interfacial transition zone. The interfacial transition zone has significant influence on the mechanical and durability properties of any hardened concrete. The quality of the interfacial transition zone depends on the type, density, surface structure, and moisture state of the aggregates. Therefore, the sintered fly ash aggregate, being porous in nature, has good interfacial transition zone. Due to high integrity between the lightweight aggregate and the surrounding cement paste, lightweight aggregate concrete generally exhibits excellent performance under severe exposure conditions. For normal aggregate concrete, wall effect exists due to intrinsic size differences between cement particles and aggregates. This results in inferior concentration of cement particles near the aggregate surface when compared to bulk cement paste. During the initial stages, the ITZ zone generally have higher water to cement ratio, and the interparticle spacing compared to the bulk paste is higher. Lack of proper curing at early stages may result in imbibing water from the pores within the interfacial transition zone. This creates large pores near the zone. Now coming to the modulus of elasticity. As I said, the modulus of elasticity of the fly ash aggregate concrete is generally less than the normal aggregates concrete, having equivalent strength, irrespective of the production process. This may be due to the higher cement paste content in the concrete and lower stiffness of the aggregate. It is also observed that the peak stress and elastic modulus of the concrete decreases as the volume of lightweight concrete increases within the matrix. Yes, when 100% replacement of the coarse aggregate is done, there will be lower peak stress. That is, determination of the elastic modulus of manufactured aggregates is highly impractical because of the production process, variation in production process. The modulus of elasticity of the sintered fly ash aggregate is comparatively lower when compared to the normal aggregate concrete, but addition of fiber increased the modulus of elasticity. Now, the relation between mechanical properties determined through experiments were carried out and correlated with various codes of practice. The compression and the relation between compression and flexure is 0.7 root FCK as per IS codal provision, whereas I obtained for normal aggregate concrete it was 0.85 root FCK. When fiber is added to the normal aggregate concrete, it is 0.94 root FCK. When sintered fly ash aggregate concrete, that is for lightweight concrete, it is 0.83 root FCK. When sintered fly ash aggregate concrete fiber is used, it was 1.08 root FCK. As I said, the compression, the split and the flexural strength can be directly correlated with the compression strength. It has a greater influence on the compression strength. The compression and split tensile strength, the relation between compression and split tensile strength for normal aggregate concrete is 1.75 root FCK. When fiber is added, it reduced to 1.72 root FCK. For sintered fly ash aggregate, it was 2.03 root FCK, and it reduced to 1.97 root FCK when fiber is added. Similarly, the modulus of elasticity. The modulus of elasticity for normal weight concrete is 5000 root FCK as per IS total provisions. But for the normal aggregate concrete developed in the laboratory, it was 4946 root FCK, and addition of fiber drastically increased the modulus of elasticity to 5683 root FCK. For sintered fly ash aggregate, it was around 40% less when compared to the normal aggregate concrete. It was 3513 root FCK. And for when fiber is added, the elastic modulus increased to 4628 root FCK. Softivity test. The durability test plays an important role in lightweight aggregate concretes because of its surface structure, porosity, or its nature. So I have carried out softivity test in order to evaluate the penetration of water against the capillary index. Concrete cylinder was used for this purpose, and it was provided with a waterproof 2 layers of waterproof coating. A tub was taken and it was filled with water for about 2 centimeters. And in order to allow free penetration of water, steel rods were kept at the bottom, and it was observed. The softivity was observed for 24 hours. This softivity is a property of a porous material that tends to transmit water by capillary absorption. After 24 hours of water absorption, that is, after 24 hours of softivity test, the cylinder was split into two halves, and the water penetration plot was taken in order to know how much water was absorbed within 24 hours. The pattern of absorption of water within 24 hours was observed. The cumulative water absorption with respect to elapsed time is calculated. The rate of increase in softivity was observed in the initial stages. Softivity, water absorption per unit area of the inflow surface, and porosity were calculated from the softivity test. At the initial stage, an increase of softivity was observed, which decreased gradually over time. The lightweight concrete responded with increased softivity when compared to the normal weight concrete. However, the addition of basalt fiber reversed the overall results with a softivity 2 times higher than without fiber. This reason has to be sorted out. As per the acceptance limits of the durability indices, the acceptance criteria for softivity in mm per hour for laboratory concrete should be less than 6 at 24 hours of observation. The test results were within the acceptable limits, indicating that the concrete is durable in terms of softivity. Water absorption. The water absorption of the concrete mix was calculated during the 24 hours of observation. The sintered fly ash aggregates showed 16% higher water absorption, but as a matrix inside the concrete, the rate of water absorption is considerably low. That is, when sintered fly ash aggregates alone were tested in the laboratory, it had 16% water absorption. But when it is used in the concrete, due to since saturated and surface dry aggregates are used in the concrete, it had a better impact on the concrete. Water absorption per unit area of the inflow surface. This is calculated from the softivity test to find out how the pores in the concrete affect the water absorption characteristics. Owing to the porous nature of the aggregates, the water absorption per unit area of the inflow surface of the lightweight concrete is comparatively high. On contrary, the inclusion of the fiber increases the mechanical properties, but it did not affect or reduce the porosity of the concrete. Further, these fibers indirectly or a little bit induced the water absorption of the concrete. Now, coming to the porosity, the presence of voids in concrete can be filled with or without water. It is known that that more porous the concrete, the weaker will be. However, in the present mixed proportion, it is proportioned in such a way the strength was similar. The porosity of the lightweight concrete and fiber reinforced lightweight concrete was found to be more than the conventional. It may be due to the difference in water cement ratio of the mix that affects the porosity considerably. The integrity of the paste aggregate bond is also crucial in terms of porosity too. The aggregate effectively represents a void if there is no bond, and it creates a zone of weakness in the concrete. That is, poor bond creates a zone of weakness around the concrete. It also represents a weak interfacial transition zone. Therefore, the durability test results of these values are within the acceptable range for the construction of durable concrete structures. That is, we are aiming to create a sustainable lightweight concrete that has to be used in structural lightweight concreting. For better performance of these lightweight aggregate in concrete, the water absorption can also be reduced by coating these aggregates by epoxy resins. That is, pre-treatment can be done in order to reduce these effects. Ponding test. Ponding test is carried out in order to find out the penetration of water towards gravity when the real case occurs when there is stagnation of rainwater or stagnation of water in the concrete structures. So above a concrete cube, a barrier is built, and the water level is maintained for about 24 hours, and the flow of water occurs towards the gravity. And this is the test setup. Water absorption. Fine. And then after subjecting to 24 hours of water ponding, the specimen was split into two halves, and the water absorption plot was done. On comparing now coming to the percentage of water absorption, on comparing the water absorption percentage of the mix subjected to ponding and sorptivity, there was no significant or large variations in the observation, because this is a long-term effect. When it is subjected to 24 hours of observation, it will directly give the water absorption, and the specimen size also plays a major role. Directly gives the water absorption, and the sorptivity and ponding test provided almost same water absorption percentage. Void ratio. The void ratio of the aggregates used in concrete was calculated through sorptivity and ponding. Although there is no proper procedure to find out the void ratio of concrete, an attempt has been made to find out the void ratio by understanding the basics of soil mechanics. The void ratio found through sorptivity is almost 3 by 4 times less than the found through ponding. The difference is caused due to the nature of gravity. The fluid flows freely towards the gravity, and it takes time to rise against the gravity. Maybe it would be the reason for the difference in such difference in void ratio. Density of concrete. Speaking about the density of the concrete, the sintered fly ash aggregate had a dry density of about 895 kg per meter cube, whereas the normal aggregate is 1,600. Whereas the aggregate, the normal dry density was 1,625 kg per meter cube. The normal aggregate concrete had a higher density, that is the usual density of about 2,500 kg per meter cube, and basalt fiber is lightweight in nature, and being lightweight in nature, it did not affect the density of the concrete, which is the intended property of a structural lightweight concrete. This is why basalt fiber is used for this purpose. Findings. From the detailed experimental investigation, an alternative to natural quarried aggregate, namely sintered fly ash aggregate, is found. Although it is factory obtained, it is robust, light, and consistent. The sintered fly ash aggregates proved to be a promising substitute for natural stone aggregate chips. Considerably reduces the dead weight of the structure. The requirements of concrete properties in terms of workability, compressive strength, split tensile strength, flexural strength, and Young's modulus were satisfied. Therefore, in a nutshell, the lightweight concrete, not only the sintered fly ash aggregate concrete, but in general, the lightweight concrete is a cost-effective alternative to normal concrete, especially since it does not compromise on the structure's strength. The higher porosity of the lightweight concrete also influences its thermal conductivity, making it suitable for projects that require insulation from heat damage. Thank you.